Welcome to Worldwise Studio, where the world's biggest ideas become surprisingly simple.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're exploring a totally fascinating concept that exists right under our noses, the idea of sleepers. And actually, I'm not just talking about catching some Z's, although, that is exactly where we're headed. We're going to dive into the broader phenomenon of hidden potential. Things, and more importantly, people who are secretly harboring a massive biological superpower called elite sleep, all while looking completely ordinary on the outside.
All right, let's jump right in. Section 1. Redefining the term sleeper. First off, let's look at car culture. A sleeper car is a vehicle that purposely looks, well, kind of boring. Think of an old family wagon or maybe a totally stock-looking 1980s Buick GNX. It blends right into traffic. There are no racing stripes, no loud exhaust, no massive spoiler. It literally looks like it belongs in a grocery store parking lot. But under the hood, it is hiding massive horsepower and speed. It completely surprises anyone who pulls up next to it at a red light because its true high-performance potential is entirely hidden behind a super mundane exterior.
Moving over to interior design, we have the sleeper sofa. Now, a true luxury sleeper sofa doesn't look like a compromise at all. From the outside, it just appears to be a regular, stylish piece of furniture sitting in your living room, but folded out, and it completely conceals a real, high-quality mattress right inside. Once again, it's all about unexpected, hidden utility just hiding in plain sight. And hey, if you play fantasy sports, you absolutely know this one. A fantasy basketball sleeper is an undervalued backup player just sitting quietly on the bench. To the untrained eye, they really aren't worth a draft pick. But they are secretly harboring massive upside for your roster if a starter gets injured and they finally get their moment on the court to shine.
So we have cars, couches, and athletes. But how do we bridge those exact ideas of hidden, unexpected superpowers directly to human biology? Like what happens when an everyday person walking down the street is a sleeper? More specifically, what does it actually mean to be an elite sleeper?
Section 2. What is an elite sleeper? Let's get into it.
So, back in 2018, the world's largest sleep study concluded definitively that humans need a sweet spot of 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night to maintain cognitive performance. We all know this, right? If we get less, our memory fogs, our reaction times plummet, and over time, our overall health severely declines. We've all felt that dreaded brain fog after a really short night of sleep, but an elite sleeper, they thrive. Fully functioning with peak physical health, sharp focus, and boundless mental energy on just 4 to 6 hours a night. They are totally breaking the biological rules that the rest of us are bound by, without ever needing a nap or a mid-afternoon espresso.
And to put that into perspective, it's an incredibly rare trait. A massive 97% of us are normal sleepers who will suffer serious health consequences if we try to survive long-term on 4 hours a night. We simply can't force our bodies to adapt to that extreme deficit. But a tiny slice, just about 3% of the population, is blessed with this extraordinary biological advantage, moving through life with extra hours of waking productivity every single day.
Moving on to Section 3. The genetics of short sleep.
Now, if you're thinking, oh, they just drink a ton of coffee or rigidly train themselves to wake up early, you'd be wrong. Actually, scratch that. It's not a habit at all, it's hardware. Scientists at the University of California, San Francisco have given this phenomenon a medical name. They refer to this deep-seated genetic condition as familial natural short sleep, or FNSS.
Over the last decade or so, UCSF researchers like Dr. Louis Potacek and Yinghui Fu made a truly fascinating discovery. FNSS actually runs in families. By mapping family trees and tracing genetic lines, they pinpointed specific genetic mutations driving this, including rare variations in the DEC2 and NPSR1 genes. This was a massive revelation. It effectively proves that your baseline requirement for sleep isn't some personal failing if you need 8 hours. It's genetically programmed. Some people are quite literally wired from birth to require less downtime.
I love how Dr. Plotzek explains this because it makes it so accessible. He compares our need for sleep to our height. He says, think of it as analogous to height. There's no perfect amount of height. Each person is different. We don't force shorter people to stretch on a rack, so why assume every single human brain requires exactly 8 hours to function? We are literally just built differently, right down to our DNA.
Which brings us to Section 4, quality over quantity. This brings up a massive biological question. How do they avoid the severe cognitive decline the rest of us would face? Well, the secret isn't just that they sleep less, it's that they sleep way better. Their specific gene variants make the actual mechanical process of sleeping far more efficient. Look,
During sleep, our brains undergo critical maintenance, clearing out toxins and consolidating memories. For most of us, that vital brain cleaning and body rejuvenating process takes a full 8 hours. But for someone with elite sleep, their biology does all of that heavy lifting in a tightly compressed, hyper-efficient 4 to 6 hour window.
Now for the really wild part. Section 5, the Alzheimer's disease connection.
This brings us to a medical breakthrough that goes far beyond just having a few extra hours of free time. Let's look at Alzheimer's disease. It's a devastating condition, accounting for nearly 75% of all dementia cases globally, and it is heavily linked to poor sleep over a lifetime. But researchers notice this fascinating paradox. People with FNSS only sleep 4 hours a night, yet they don't seem to suffer increased risks of dementia at all. In fact, their brains remain remarkably sharp as they age. Historically, medical research focuses on bad genes that cause disease. But here, scientists realized they had stumbled upon something entirely different, genes that actively prevent it.
The neurological difference is absolutely stark. In a normal brain, getting less than 6 hours of sleep makes you highly susceptible to abnormal clusters of protein fragments. But in an FNSS brain, those sleeper genes, DEC2 and NPSR1, act like a biological shield. They actively slow down the buildup of the toxic amyloid plaques and tau tangles that are the hallmark causes of Alzheimer's.
To prove this wasn't just a coincidence, researchers set up a rigorous experiment. They took mice that were genetically predisposed to developing Alzheimer's, and they bred them with the FNSS short sleep genes. The results were undeniable. Those sleeper genes actively protected the mice, leading to a significantly slower progression of neurodegeneration. So, the short sleep wasn't hurting them. The staggering efficiency of their sleep was actually saving them.
And finally, Section 6, the future of brain health.
So what does all of this mean for the 97% of us who still desperately need our 8 hours? Well, the horizon points directly to the development of pharmaceutical drugs that can artificially mimic the effects of the FNSS genes. This isn't just about a better cup of coffee, right? Imagine a medical treatment that could target these exact, specific biological pathways, giving a perfectly healthy person the hyper-efficient, rejuvenating, and disease-resistant power of elite sleep without needing to be born with a rare genetic mutation.
Because cracking this genetic code isn't just about sleep anymore. As co-author Yinghui Fu points out, it is a completely novel pathway to delaying and possibly entirely preventing devastating diseases of the brain. The ultimate goal of mapping out elite sleep isn't just to make us work longer hours. It's to help everyone live healthier, longer, and more vibrant lives through optimum, genetically assisted rest. I want to leave you with this provocative thought. We started by talking about sleeper cars and couches, everyday things with hidden potential. But the ultimate sleeper is hiding right there in human DNA. Imagine a future where a simple pill could grant everyone the superpower of elite sleep, eliminating the risk of dementia and giving us back literally years of waking life. If science can make us all elite sleepers, what will you do with all that extra time? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you next time.